Do we always see the same manta rays? Or are they migratory, or are they more territorial? And this is a really good question I get all the time. So today I want to dive in and get some answers. This is Martina Wing. I live in Kailua-Kona on the big island of Hawaii, and manta rays are my true love for about 21 years. I dive and swim with them almost nightly, and I have a lot of stories to tell you. And today I want to look at this question, if manta rays are territorial or more migratory, or do we see always the same manta rays? Manta rays are identified by their spot pattern on their belly. So if you look at the underside of a manta ray, there are the gill slits on each side. And here in the middle is a spot pattern. And that's unique. It's like a fingerprint. It's how we easily can identify different manta rays, different individuals. And there are databases around the world that you can access and look them up. Here in Kona, we have the database with the Manta Pacific Research Foundation. And I believe we have about 280 manta rays identified right now. The database is filled by individuals around the island. We are supposed, when we see a new manta ray, and that's kind of the getting the naming rights for a manta ray. If you see a manta ray for the very first time, you take this picture of the underside and then you submit it, and then you get the naming rights. It's a really fun thing, and I'm totally into this with my team. Over the years, I think we identified 50 manta rays, or more than 50 manta rays. And there are two species of manta rays. One species is called the reef manta, and reef mantas are the smaller size. And we measure the fin tip from here to here is how we measure the manta rays. The larger ones are the pelagic manta rays. They roam the big ocean. They don't come close to land or reefs. Their habitat is the big blue, and that would be the Mobula birostris. That's how we identify the manta rays, and also the two different species of that. So the local database here for the Kona Coast is about 30 years old, and there's quite a lot of manta rays that we maybe see once in a whole lifetime, never again. And then there are the other manta rays that we see over and over again. A really good example is Lefty. We saw her from 1979 until 2016, so 37 years, and she was seen 200 times per year. And the other one would be Big Bertha. Big Bertha is known since 1992, and she's a really big female. She's like a 747 flying into the dive site, but we estimate her wingspan around 12-14 feet. She was called Big Bertha back in 1992. Not Little Bertha or Bertha. She was Big Bertha back then. The database is just awesome to know how long manta rays have been seen. So Lefty and Bertha, these are just really close to my heart. And here on the Kona Coast, I want to just hold up a map. Here's the Kona Coast. The Kona Coast has here the west coast of the island. Very special place because there's so much ocean recreation. We are protected from certain mountain. It's just not so windy, and there's a lot of boating out here. It's really beautiful. The weather is always perfect. So if you're planning on coming to the Hawaiian Islands, I recommend to come to the Big Island and the Kona Coast for sun and ocean recreation. We have 3 locations here on the coast, and one is here in Keaho. Here's Kailua-Kona. One is by the airport, and one is on the Kohala Coast. So there are 3 viewing areas where you can see manta rays on a regular basis. So our little team has been on this coastline working with the manta rays since 1991. My husband started way back then. I joined in 98, and we had really cool team members over the years. We covered the Keaho and the airport location consistently with video services. Capture the underside of the manta rays and say exactly which manta rays were at what location. So you can go to the statistics page and see every month which manta ray was at what night and what location. It's really cool stuff if you geek out. I'm not really a geek, but this is really stuff I liked to learn about. So we don't visit these 2 sites that much anymore. We are mostly on the Kohala Coast, but this actually gives us more information about the movement patterns of the manta rays that live here on the Kona Coast. So about distances between each location. From the Kohala Coast all the way down to Keaho, the distance is 42 miles. That's about 67 kilometers. Now, don't pin me down on that. This is what I use in Google Maps if you would drive with a car. If you split it up, so from Keaho to the airport, it's about 15 miles, and that's 24 kilometers. And if you go from the airport to the Kohala Coast location, that's about 27 miles with 43 kilometers. These are the distances that I'm looking at and individual manta rays have overcome, and in what time frame as well. Now, in our statistics from Keaho to the airport, we've figured out, or we looked at this one criteria, that manta rays have been those 15 miles distance in 24 hours, 48 or 72. So we wanted to look at this time frame. And if you look into the statistics, you can see how often manta rays have done it. And we actually crowned the one that was moving the most. And in certain years, it was, for example, Vitor Ray, one night down south, next night was she at the airport, and then she went back. So it was constant movement. Same thing as Big Bertha and Lefty and other manta rays have done that as well. For us, it was already clear there is movement between the dive sites. But now being at the Kohala Coast most of the time, the question is, do the manta rays go all the way from the Kohala Coast all the way to Keaho? And this is really, really exciting. Lulu Ray swam those 42-mile distance in 8 weeks. So you might say, is that long? Well, I can only give you the dates, how she was sighted. And so she left the Kohala Coast on June 8th. And then she was seen at the Keaho site on July 12th and 15 and 19. I know that because other people reported about it. I wasn't there myself. And then I was so happy when she came back to the Kohala Coast location on August 10th. So Lulu Ray is just a super trooper about swimming. So we thought. Jolene Ray, she broke all records, I think, over the years, because she swam those 42 miles in 8 days. Actually swam double. She swam all the way from the Kohala Coast. She left, I saw her on September 5th, one night, just a few days ago. And 3 days later, she was sighted at the Sheraton, which is the Keaho side, on the 8th. So in 3 days, she swam those 42 miles. Past the airport location, past all the way down to Keaho. Then she came back. And I was so happy that night, because Jolene Ray is one of them that comes almost every night to the Kohala Coast location, and I can kind of count on this fish that I can show it to my guests. And Jolene has no fear. She comes close. I mean, she doesn't give you any personal space. She comes close to the surface to feed on the plankton. And if you're in the right place, that's what I guide you to, then you find you have a real close-up. It's a beautiful, beautiful animal. And Vitor Ray came back this week. Vitor Ray was named after a young man from Brazil. Vitor Ray took a break, and he came back after 17 months taking a vacation from us. So he used to be at the Kohala Coast all the time, and then he left on April 9th in 2018, and then he came back on September 18th, so just last week. So 1 year and 5 months he was on the road. I mean, he was swimming around somewhere else. He was just not using that bay for his feeding grounds, which like Jolene does all the time, or Lulu. I'm so happy when I saw Vitor Ray coming back. Yeah, it was really every single night there was something very exciting happening. And then to top it off, another manta ray, her name is Obama Ray. I identified her in the fall of 2017. Didn't see her for a while. Then she was a regular at the sites for at least 8-10 months. And then she got a really big cut in her wing. It was probably human impact, but a deep cut. She left about 6 days later. She left the bay. She's like, I'm not sure what she was thinking, but she just left the bay. And I was really worried it was because of the cut, and then maybe something happened to her. Surprise, surprise. She came back this week on the 19th. We have Obama Ray back too. So Vitor Ray is back, Obama Ray is back. Jolene went on a short vacation down to Keaho and came back and swam all these miles. And then Lulu was back as well. Just really, really fun stuff to know about. And a really good example to show you that manta rays are territorial along a coastline or migratory is Lehua Ray, a manta ray that we saw the very first time, and was picked up into the database in 2002. And then we didn't see her again. Just not coming to the night viewing areas, just hanging out somewhere else. And then we saw her again in 2017, one night. And that's it. She just swam over the campfire, the lit up area by the airport. And then she is a big female. And then she just took off, and 15 years in between. I'm just always so happy to talk about manta rays. I'm getting really excited again. And I hope this answers your question. So are manta rays migratory or territorial? So I guess the reef mantas on this Kona Coast we see over and over again. They have a home range of probably 40-50 miles up and down the coast, but they're also migratory, and I guess it goes down to the definition of what you think of migratory or territorial. I just can tell you what my experience is over the 20 years being with these beautiful animals in the water all the time. Hope the best for you today, and let's go and swim with the Mantas.